Now we have cast on. There's 16 stitches on this needle, and we're going to do the knit stitch. Here's my working yarn. It goes to the ball, and I have a tail left, which I will ignore and just try to keep out of the way. When we are about to work a stitch, we want the stitch to be worked on the tip of the needle. That gives us room to work into the bottom of the stitch. The very first stitch can be a little tricky because this is the one and only time our yarn is going to be coming from the left needle. So I might need to pull down on that stitch a little. Sometimes I'll pinch it with these fingers. We want to enter that stitch from left to right, front to back. And wrap that yarn around the needle. And we're pulling that loop through. At this point, we want to get this new stitch onto the shaft of the needle, and with our index finger of our left hand, give it a little gentle tug to get our stitch sized correctly. And now the old stitch needs to come off the left needle, so we lift our right needle and lift the stitch off. Now the working yarn is coming from the right needle, which is where it will be whenever you're in the middle of a row. So as we go, we might need to adjust these stitches so that we have them closer to the tip, trying to have pretty much one stitch at a time on the tip. And as a review for tensioning our yarn, I like to be holding both needles in my right hand temporarily. Picking up that yarn like this with my pinky, give it a wrap, and under and over. That's a really good way to tension. We'll go over that again. Okay, 3 steps to tensioning. We put it around the pinky with a wrap, over the middle finger, and over the index from behind, so that you have a strand of yarn across the 3 inner fingers, a loop around the pinky, and you have control over where the yarn goes with your pointer finger, index finger. And you can tension the yarn with the pinky. One last time. That's how we do it. Okay. That is not the only way to do it, but that is a way that works really well. Okay, so put that stitch back on there. And I will retension pretty often so that I get a nice short amount of yarn here, 1 to 2 inches. Okay, we have 1 stitch on the needle. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 5, 6, yes. Okay, I haven't accidentally pulled any off. All right, we enter that stitch that is on the tip from left to right, front to back. Wrap in that direction on our right needle. Sometimes a little index finger hold there can give you more security. I have now pulled that working yarn loop up through the old stitch, and this is where I pull the stitch onto the shaft and then give it a gentle tug with my left index finger. And then with the right needle, pull the old stitch off. We have 2 new stitches on our right needle. Okay, the yarn is in the back when we're knitting. Enter through the front to back, wrap in this direction. And I am actually sliding that needle a little bit and sliding the needle again until we get that on the shaft. Gentle tug and pull this old stitch off the needle. Up to the tip. Through from left to right, front to back. Wrap. Little helper with the index finger if necessary. And back onto the shaft. Little tug to size the stitch and take it off the left needle. Keep keeping the yarn in the back. Through the hole. Okay, so did you see how there is space right here? Because I have it on the tip. That does make it a lot easier. And eventually you might not have to use your finger. Oh, that popped off a little bit before I wanted it to, so it's a good reason to use the finger of your right hand. Okay, wrap. Hold that on there. Get that onto the shaft to size it and pull it off the left needle. Pull that through. And if it comes off, get that back up on the tip and wrap. Okay, this is a great example. Okay, the stitch popped off my left needle onto the right needle before I created the new stitch. But I entered that knitwise, so if I just put it right back on here, now my leading leg is on the back. Is that correct? Let's see what I did. This is where you need to kind of figure out. Yeah, the leading leg is on the back. Here's a good way to tell too. Is it? Okay. Now I'm about to lose my stitch completely. Okay, so I just lost that cast on, but all is not lost.